Hey everyone, what is going on? So I just wanted to show you this Love Disc really quick. I found it yesterday, this shiny Love Disc. Really incredible. I was really happy to have it. My brother has two of them, but he's not trading it to me because he's trading it for a Pachirisu, which I totally understand since Pachirisu is not around where we are. It's not native to North America, unfortunately, at least in our area. So he's going to trade it for the Pachirisu, but we do go ahead and pick up our own shiny Love Disc. So I'm really happy to have this one. And yeah, we're doing more battles for the Tempest Cup today, and I'm basically using the same team that I have been using, but tomorrow I am going to be using different Pokemon and changing things up a little bit. I do have other Pokemon that I plan on investing in or that I already have, but for this video I am changing things up a little bit. He does begin with Charizard. I begin with Mamoswine. I decided to stay in with Mamoswine because I knew I would be able to get an Ancient Power off before he knocks me out, but he does clear up the match, so really not looking good for me. He does get off that Blast Burn. I do go ahead and block it because it would have done a good amount of damage to me. Because he started off with Charizard, I didn't really want to switch. I didn't know what I would switch into. That's why I decided not to switch, but I do go ahead and get the Blast Burn and knock out his own Charizard. He switches into Electabuzz, so I switch into my Abomasnow because I knew I would resist Electric. Still doing a lot of damage at Thunderbolt, so Electabuzz might not be a bad choice, or Electivire. I'd have to look into them. I definitely want to try it out. We get off the Outrage, and he's going to go ahead and block it because that more than likely would have knocked it out. Outrage is a very powerful move. We switch into our own Charizard, knock it out, still have a Blast Burn ready to go, and we do get off that Blast Burn on the Electabuzz, and we take the game. So very close game. I actually thought I was going to lose that one, but we do go ahead and sneak in the win. So really showing the power of Charizard and Blast Burn in general. But this time we're beginning with our Swampert. He's beginning with his Frostlass. Now, Frostlass is another Pokemon that was recommended to me to give a try, and I do have one about 1000 CP, so I might try it. We get off the Surf, doing a lot of damage on that Frostlass. He gets off the Shadow Ball. I should have blocked that. I didn't know what move he had. I was thinking like maybe he would go for an Ice move. I didn't really know what Frostlass got, so my mistake for not blocking that. I do have my Charizard now. He switches out his Abomasnow into his Lantern. I get off that Blast Burn. He goes ahead and blocks it. Yes, Lantern would have resisted it, but it's really a frail Pokemon, so it still would have done a lot of damage. He gets off his Thunderbolt, but, I do resist that, of course, knocking out Lantern easily. He switches in his own Abomasnow, but I knew it was over. Even if he was able to knock out my Abomasnow, which he wasn't able to, I still would have been able to win with my Pokemon in the back. So we do go ahead and pick up that win for that game. So, yeah, another really good game. Really enjoyed that one. So we're going to go ahead and move on to yet another Tempest battle. Of course, you guys know it. Beginning with Swampert, he begins with his Lantern. Now, I knew I resisted electric moves because I am part ground, so that's why I decided to stay in with Swampert, getting off that Surf, doing a decent amount of damage for how fast Surf charges up. It wasn't that bad. He gets off Thunderbolt, which actually does a decent amount as well, getting off another Surf, and he's almost all but knocked out. Now we do go ahead and pick up the KO, so he's thinking a little bit about what he wants to switch into. I immediately click on that Surf and we're able to hit Abomasnow. I probably should have waited a little bit, but that's alright. I switch into my Charizard. He switches out immediately into his Charizard. However, we already did a lot of damage to that Abomasnow, so I was happy with that. He gets off a Blast Burn, which is easily going to knock me out, and we get off our own Blast Burn against his Charizard, and he's going to go ahead and protect himself, of course. He gets off his Blast Burn. I wanted my Charizard to live, so I go ahead, block myself. I get off a Blast Burn, so it's Blast Burn versus Blast Burn. He goes ahead and protects himself, of course, and he's able to get off his Blast Burn, but yet I put up that shield. Wow, Charizard versus Charizard going head to head, using all of our shields against each other, and he has a Abomasnow, and Charizard's easily going to be able to knock that out. But that was a close game, though. That was a really close game, so we do go ahead and take that win. But we're going to go ahead and jump into yet another Tempest battle, of course, beginning with Swampert. He begins with the Abomasnow. I have to get out of there. I can't handle that Razor Leaf. Of course, he's going to pull the switch into Lantern, but we do go ahead and get off the Blast Burn, and actually doing a good amount of damage. As I said, because Lantern is frail and Blast Burn does a lot of damage. Going to go ahead and have to block that Thunderbolt, and we get off yet another Blast Burn. He's going to go ahead and block that, I guess because he knew he would get off a Thunderbolt, so that would force my last shield. So we go ahead and knock out that Lantern, and he switches into his own Charizard, and here we go, Charizard mirror match again. I do go ahead and use Blast Burn. He knocks me out. and I switch into my Swampert. He activates Blast Burn. Look how much that did to Swampert. That did a lot. That's how powerful Blast Burn is. That I did not expect that to do as much damage as it did to Swampert, considering I resisted. And he gets off his Energy Ball, and it's very close. We knock him out. We get off our Outrage. I was like, is this going to knock it out? It comes so close. It does not knock it out, but his Charizard was able to finish us off. So Outrage almost knocking out, but that's okay. We came very close to that one, but Charizard was able to sweep us, or not sweep us, but able to knock us out. This time he's beginning with Lapras, a Pokemon that I also want to try out, but I don't have a Legacy Lapras, unfortunately. I switch into Abomasnow. He pulls out the switch into Altaria immediately. Now, his Altaria actually does really well against my team in some of these battles, and I guess that's because I really don't have any Ice-type users. Well, I do. I have Abomasnow, but it doesn't have a nice move, right? So I do need to add or try out more Pokemon with ice moves, and then Altaria wouldn't really be performing that well, I don't think. But against me as of right now, it's good because it resists basically everything that I'm throwing at it, right? It resists Surf, it resists Razor Leaf, it resists Blast Burn, all of these fire moves and whatnot from Charizard. So Altaria is really doing well. So I am definitely going to try that out to see how it works. But again, I feel like it's going to lose easily to a bunch of ice types. So, once we use a more finalized team and use more Pokemon, I don't feel like Altaria is going to be necessarily that great for this particular cup. It's good for the Great League. I just don't know about this cup in general. But yeah, that Blast Burn was able to finish off Abomasnow. So we do actually take the win regardless. But yeah, another nice game. But I guess he knew I basically wasn't really using ice type attack, so that's why he was going with Altaria, because he knew he would be able to handle me just fine, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But I begin with my Mamoswine. I am going to pull the switch into Charizard. He switches out into his good old Altaria, of course. So Blast Burn activating. He blocks it because, again, it would have done a decent amount of damage, and he knew he had to preserve Altaria as long as possible because he could handle my team just fine. Blast Burn doing a decent amount of damage to that Altaria. I switch into my Mamoswine. So I do have a nice type attack on Mamoswine, but he does get off his Dazzling Gleam. Immediately I have to block, and we actually do go ahead and finish off Altaria. So yeah, activating Ancient Power, he's going to go ahead and block it because that would have been super effective, and his Razor Leaf's going to shred right through Mamoswine. We switch into Abomasnow, and we're coming really close. I do go ahead and block his Energy Ball, and we're going to go ahead and knock out his Abomasnow. So it's 1 vs 1, but he has his Charizard, and Abomasnow cannot stand up against Charizard. So Charizard absolutely killing it in this competition, or in this Tempest Cup. I feel like Charizard is going to absolutely dominate the Tempest Cup. It does have weaknesses. It's weak to electric, it's weak to water, it's weak to rock. So it does have weaknesses. I'm not saying it's unbeatable, but it's going to be a really good Pokemon, especially with Blast Burn for this particular cup. So hopefully you have one with Blast Burn. If you don't, try to trade for one. That qualifies for the Great League. So I was lucky enough to have one. Of course, Charizard with Blast Burn came out before PvP was out, so I didn't know I was going to need it. But we're pretty lucky. But anyway, I do have my Zapdos for this battle because, well, it's neutral to that Altaria, and he's going to go ahead and block Thunderbolt. Going to knock my Zapdos right out. So yeah, he's basically sweeping my team with Altaria. So Altaria is really powerful Pokemon, not against ice types though. So we'll see how it performs against ice Pokemon. But yeah, he actually does go ahead and sweep my team with Altaria. So really showing the power of Altaria. Really good Pokemon. So we're switching opponents right now. Starting with Swampert, I have to get out of there immediately into my Charizard, and he's going to pull his Abomasnow out for Skarmory. He said that was a misclick. He wasn't meaning to bring out Skarmory, but he does, and Charizard's going to wreck Skarmory as well. I do go ahead and block this Sky Attack because I wanted to be able to finish off his Skarmory, and we do go ahead and finish it off. And he has a Wish Cache, and I also know he has a weak Abomasnow, so I'm looking pretty good at this point in time. Get off that Blast Burn, doing a good amount of damage. You could see how good Blast Burn does, right? Even against things that resist it. It doesn't knock Pokemon like Wish Cache or Swampert out, but it still does a lot of damage. So he's going to go ahead and block that Blast Burn, and he gets off the Mud Bomb. That's going to finish off Charizard. So we bring in Abomasnow, which is easily going to finish off Wish Cache. And now I know he has a weak Abomasnow. So, I stuffed 2 Pokemon, so I knew the game was going to be mine. And he actually gets off his Outrage, which does a decent amount of damage, I guess. But we go ahead and finish him off. So we take that one. And we're going to go ahead and move into the last game. the last game of this video, that is, against the same opponent. And I'm going to go ahead and begin with my shiny Mamoswine. He begins with his Wish Cash, and I decide to stay in for a little bit, but then I decide to pull a switch. He gets off his move, Mud Bomb. Not going to do anything to Abomasnow, which I knew it wouldn't. And yeah, we easily knock him out with that Razor Leaf, guys. Easily knock him out. He switches into Skarmory. Unfortunately, I cannot switch since I already pulled the switch. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and block that Sky Attack because that would have knocked us out. And because I knew I would get Outrage off, he knew I had Outrage. He still decided to block. Yeah, and he's going to go ahead and knock out our Abomasnow just fine. I do go ahead, bring the switch into Charizard. Going to go ahead and block that just because I want my Charizard to stay healthy, and we are going to be able to knock out that Skarmory. I don't feel Skarmory is that great for this cup. It was amazing for the Boulder Cup, but it has more weaknesses in this particular cup. He's obviously going to block that Blast Burn. That would have knocked out Abomasnow, but we do get another Blast Burn and knock it out, and that's going to be it for this video, guys. I will see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye. Thank you so much for watching my latest video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter. If you like this video, click on one of the links to check out another one of my videos that you'll probably enjoy.